hit the button.
He hit the button. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I think it's there. Is it there?
It says we're online.
Is it there?
We're there.
Oh my goodness, we're online. Ladies and gentlemen, don't touch that dial. You're listening to Brothers in Arms Podcast here on Twitch. It is the 29th of May, 2023, episode number 115. We are your hosts with the most, Patrick, Greg, and Alex. I'm Greg. That's Alex.
Hi.
And that guy over there is Patrick.
What's
Gentlemen,
up?
good evening. Hello. I've missed you. We had to do the thing and have a little bit of a delay.
I was on duty. I'm sorry.
I know.
He missed us, though. Did you hear that?
I did.
I missed
He
you.
missed us.
I missed you.
Wow.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's a whole different week of amazingness and fun and conversations by text. You know, folks, just a heads up. We typically do not talk throughout the week. Not always.
Not always.
Not always. There are some days where these two knuckleheads will get together and because they can and they're close to each other. But I'm down here in Atlanta and they're up there in the eastern part of Virginia and the land of Mary. And it's good. It's good that you are able, but
I could throw a rock and hit Mary.
That's not nice.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that line of thought.
It's just so you said it. I just filled in there.
Throw a rock at Mary.
I could throw a rock and hit Mary. I didn't say
throw
a rock
and
at
hit
Mary.
Got it. Got it.
True.
That's
anyway,
that's the state, boys and girls. So
this is the only time throughout the week that we get to physically see each other together, all three of us.
Yes.
There have been times where vacation has brought us together, which is beautiful. But these moments, we cherish these moments because we grew up in the same house until I moved out after high school. Mm-hmm. And then these two guys still had another 6 years after that.
Well, and then you moved back for a little bit.
You know what? That was a hot minute in that was a hot minute in
funny though. I have a vivid memory. I think we've talked about this before, but I do have a vivid memory of us going we had to come to Louisville for something. So mom and dad moved to Owensboro. We were in Owensboro. We came to Louisville for something. And mom and dad were going home. And it was kind of spur of the moment. Do you remember this? You were living, I think you were living with the Howells?
Kellys.
No, I was living with the Kellys, yeah.
You were living with the Kellys at the time. And
right.
It turned into, hey, mom and dad, can I spend the night here and just ride back with Patrick the next day? And it was like, yeah, sure. That's cool. That'll be fine. So I stayed at the house. I had my first Seder, which was a Christian version of a Seder. It was still a Seder, just
right.
different. But it was during Passover, so it was right around Easter time. Had a Passover, spent the night with Patrick, and then the next morning we got in your Chevelle or your Chevette. And if you remember, you didn't have a CD player.
Nope, sure didn't. I had a boombox in the back seat.
You had a boombox. And we listened to the Linkin Park CD from start to finish. That was when the first Linkin Park CD came out.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Chester Benningfield.
Chester Benningfield. Thank you, boyo.
You're welcome.
Rest in peace, Chester Benningfield. But that was the first time I heard that CD, and I remember us listening to it front to back, all the way from Louisville to Owensboro, driving in that dinky little beige car.
That car was awesome.
It was.
And we've talked about that car a lot, but that car was awesome.
We had so much fun riding around in that thing with you. I'll never forget. It was sad when it went away, but because that was it was a 3 on the tree, right? Or did it have a?
No. It was up, down, push in the middle, push over and to the right. So it was a 4-speed.
Oh.
It had 4 to the clutch and over and down
For reverse.
for reverse. Yeah. There were times I could just open my door and kick my foot and push it in reverse. But but whatever. Yeah, that car was great. That
Just
car
couldn't.
was awesome. I miss that car.
We don't tell mom and dad. We tried not to get in trouble when we were riding with you.
Yeah.
There
Try
was some
is the hard yeah, that's the
there were
operative
some
word.
there were some times going back to the house there in Louisville South. Do you remember the ice night?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think some of our listeners might remember the ice night too.
That's true.
Uh,
Oops.
yeah.
Don't tell mom and dad, but we definitely made that car drift.
We didn't drift. We did a donut in the middle of the street while going forward.
Some would call
s-
that losing control.
No, it was controlled loss of control.
Chevette on ice.
Chevette on ice.
That's right.
The
Let
new
it
musical,
go.
the new musical from Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Oh man. So, boys,
Hello.
how's it going?
Yeah, it's been a it's honestly it's been a fun week. I'll go first if you guys want. I'll talk a little bit
Sure.
about.
The rain just started over here, so I'm good.
Oh,
It's raining?
Oh yeah.
yeah, we've been getting so it's been hitting like basically all of the eastern side of Virginia where we live. We've been getting rain all day.
Hmm.
Yeah, that means
Not only are we getting rain, it's cold.
dachshunds are
six-
probably gonna poop in the house.
It's in the 60s.
What about pooping in the house?
The dachshunds are probably gonna poop in the house. They walk up to that little dog door in the back. They stick their nose out. They go, "Nope."
No.
Oh well, and they walls around, goes find somewhere to poop in the house, and then
Oh my goodness.
yeah, they've gotten better as they've gotten older, but yeah, no.
Oh.
Like the other bad part is if the grass is wet, they stick their head out and they go, "Nope," and they go back in.
Wow.
They will have none of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, if you were basically walking around on your chest, and dragging through the wet grass, you'd be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna poop out here."
This is the curse of the breed.
It is a
Mhm.
fact.
They're not having it.
Low and slow, baby. Low and slow.
Low and slow.
Wiener
go ahead.
dogs for the win.
Go
No,
ahead.
it's
Jay.
no, you're good. It's been a pretty good week. I have been did a couple things. So I showed you guys the pictures of the going away gift
Yep.
for
The
my
hammer.
coworker stuff. Yep, the hammer.
Oh, wait a
The
minute. Wait a minute. We
Hmm?
have an uncle of 3 in the group chat.
Oh, really?
Who might that be?
Uncle 3. I see Grandma M. I'm pretty sure that's Grandma Malik hanging
Yep.
out with us.
I-
All right, Grandma. Let's go.
Samson in the chat tonight as well, which is
All
cool.
right.
I'm pretty sure that's Uncle Jeff, guys.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
love it.
I don't know.
Oh, I love
But-
it. That's fantastic.
If he is, we say hello. At least I
Well,
do.
Oh, just by yourself? No, hello.
Hello from everybody.
Hello. And
Not
also
just
the
you.
obligatory.
I
Hi,
wanna
Grandma.
say hello.
Yeah.
I wanna say
Hi,
hello too.
Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. But no, it's been a good week. So the going away gift came together. I know we were talking about it. I was telling you guys about it. Getting the etchings done on the ends of the hammer were a pain in the butt. It ended up coming down to me going on base because literally the laser etcher we have in our side of the hanger was broken. It was turned in. The one on the other side of the hanger was broken and turned in. Obviously, the guy that's leaving, I can't ask him to etch his own going away gift, so that's out the window.
It's a bit tacky.
I ended up calling a guy that works on the other side and being like, hey, I left him I got a hold of him. I'm like, hey, I need to get this etched. It needs to get done ASAP. can you do it? And he's like, I don't have an etcher, but there's another guy here in the squadron that does all my work. Like, contact him. He'll take care of you. Cool. I called this dude 3 times, left him multiple messages, no response. And so finally I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. So I ended up going to base and went over to main side. And there's a new shop that opened in Q-Town. And one of the guys that works there that's he's one of those like entrepreneurial dudes. He focuses on coins. Boyo, you've probably seen some of his challenge coins because he makes some really cool looking challenge coins. That's his shtick. But he also makes going away gifts and does some other stuff. And so I went in there and you walk into a store with an 8-pound sledgehammer. You go, hey, I'm calling an audible. I need some help. Can you guys make this happen? And cost me way more than I wanted to spend, but it was also a rush job. And this guy was able to call one of his friends who was able to get this thing put together and was able to get it done. So by Thursday morning when I showed up, we were able to have a proper going away and give him his stuff, and he was impressed by it, and also moved that we were able to give him something as an end of his time there at the unit, which was really cool. So I did that. My schedule, throw my schedule out the window. I don't know what
You have a schedule?
Right. I was working nights. I worked nights Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Had a weird shift, came in Thursday early. And then Friday, it was everyone on days. We had a unit-wide, they call it the Squadron Olympics. And I showed up so that I could watch we had tug of war, we had relay race, we had just a bunch of because there's a lot of different groups that are part of the unit. So
I thought something completely different when you said Olympics.
Yeah, no. Special?
No, I thought you were wiener watching all day, man.
Be nice.
No, not that kind. Not
Okay.
that kind. But no, we literally had it was basically so Patrick, I think we've talked about this. You've heard the phrase Mando fun. We talked about
Mando fun?
Mandatory fun?
Mandatory fun, aka
yeah.
Mando fun.
Mando
We've
fun.
got that here too.
Yeah, so it was a Mando. It was what we affectionately call a Mando Fun Day.
Uh-huh.
So definitely Friday had to show up for Mando Fun.
You're gonna be here and you're gonna like it.
Exactly. You will enjoy it.
Oh, that reminds me of Mando Fun. I've got something.
I want a good Mando Fun. So finished that on Friday. Got out of work kind of early. Boyo, there's a new brewery that opened here in the Stafford area, and I went to check this out. This is why I know I am my father's son.
Okay.
So I left work. We got out of work. I was done with work. It was awesome. Like I got out of work.
Check all your exits?
I got out of work at like 11:45.
No. It's a father son. Keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, no, I did. I walked. I drove down. Left
Through the
base.
back to the door.
It's literally.
Yeah.
It's locked. We're good.
All right.
And I'm just in case.
But
not really.
Nice.
But I know. So I drove down. I'm like, I'll stop there. I looked online. It said they're opening today. And I'd heard from some friends that there's this new brewery. I said, all right, this is cool. Like, let's go check it out. So I pull into the parking lot, found where it was at, pulled into the parking lot, and I hung out in the parking lot, just doodled on my phone. It was about 12:15. I'm like, cool. Like they should be like, when I pulled up, I saw 2 of the employees. They had their shirts on. They were setting up tents in the patio area. And I'm like, yeah, no, like this is cool. Like they're opening, they're getting set up. Like this would be great. So I get out of the car and I start walking in, and the guy's like, oh, hey, like one of the guys that was there comes walking out, and he's like, oh, hey, are you you here for the brewery? I'm like, yeah, no, like I heard you guys are open. Like I want to check you out. He goes, oh, we're not open today.
What?
Our official opening is tomorrow, Saturday. Oh man, that's a real bummer. Like I'm here. I just thought I want to check. Your thing on Google says you're open. Like I want to check you out. And he says, oh, don't worry about it. He said, come on in. Like you can come see it and check it out, and we'll show you around. Like, okay,
So you got a
I'll
free
do.
walkthrough just for showing up.
Right. So I walk into this place, and
Greg, the soft opener.
oh man, well they apparently they already had soft openings, but it gets
Oh,
better. It gets better. I walk in and start talk. I meet the girls, the one girl who's like running the back of the like running the tabs,
uh-huh.
because she's training the other folks like how to pour beer and do their thing. Come to find out, she's a home brewer. We've actually met at home brewing events down in Fredericksburg. And it's like, oh man, like small world. Start talking about my experience and where I've been in the home brewing community, and then also like moonlighting as a brand ambassador for one of the breweries. Shout out Six Bears and a Goat. Next thing I know,
Not
um,
sponsored.
not sponsored, not sponsored. She pours me. I tasted
But maybe.
everything. I tasted everything on their tap board.
Dare gum, G.
She's like, try this, try this, try this, try this. Just like pours me everything.
What?
So I've got just a line of tasters, like all 7 beers that they have. It's like 2-ounce pours, like just little sips of, but still just a chance to at least try them
Doesn't
all.
matter. You're getting a taste of their entire place.
He pours me everything. So I'm sitting here tasting. I'm talking to her. I'm talking to one of the other
Are
girls that
you in
works
uniform?
there. No. I was in just normal. Like I was rocking a Six Bears t-shirt, but I'm
Just
just sitting
checking out the
there.
competition.
Just in their chat. Well, no, here's the kicker. We went to their grand opening on Saturday. Um, so I'm talking to him. Next thing I know, uh, the owner comes in, and I meet him, and we get to chatting, and it's like, man, like I've heard his whole story, and we're friends now, and then other people start coming in.
Oh, there's the dad part. Got
Right?
it.
All the
Yeah.
other people start coming in because they were like me, they're going off Google, and it's like, "Oh, it says your brewery is open today." And he's like, "You know what?" He's like, "Turn on the register. Like everyone's here. Like we'll let them try it out if they're here, they want to try it, like we're open."
Wow.
So I end up buying a pint. I meet the head brewer, get to talk to him, find out his story, where he came from, and you know, mutual friends and all that jazz. And next thing I know, like, oh cool, like you're a nice guy and you're now a regular, and here's all of our stuff, and it's great to meet you and everything
There
else.
gone, man.
So fast forward, so this weekend, Brandy and I committed to our the couple, Sasha and Sean, our good friends. They
Right.
took
Right,
all their
right, right.
kids. They took all their kids on all the kids just got out for summer break, and so they did a long weekend. They went to it was somewhere in the mountains, but they needed someone to watch the dogs, and so they're like, "Can you watch the dogs?" So Sasha and Sean have a Great Dane that is a mini horse. She's about her name's Lucy. She's about a year old, and they have a miniature schnauzer named Misty, who is a spitfire of a little dog.
I'm
And
sorry, that's an extreme right there.
right,
Yeah.
dog and duck,
Yep.
Did you say dog and duck?
dog, little duck.
Oh, dog
little
and
little
They're both
little
dogs.
dog
little
and
tiny
dog.
dog.
Wow.
So
I'm
next thing I know,
following.
here we are. So Saturday morning arrives. We get two extra dogs in the house, and they know Hunter and Willow, so like they're all cool with each other. But we haven't had them for that long of a period. So we had them through to today. They went home. They went home today, but
Mhm.
we had them all weekend. And Saturday, so we get these two dogs, and Brandy's like, she's been off since Saturday as well. She had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and she's got tomorrow off. And she's like, you know what? She's like, you're telling me about this brewery. Like, let's go to the brewery today. Let's take the dogs.
Aren't you ambassador for one and now you're tooting another one?
dude, I'm a promoter of all of the
Of
craft
all things
brewing,
beer
and
and
actually
ale.
it's actually funny. So, skipping ahead, tonight our neighbors were out with some of their friends in the front yard, and they were drinking the one guy, Justin, was drinking a 1911, which is a cidery from upstate New York. It's up near Syracuse. And I saw the can and immediately I was like, oh yeah, I know where that's at. Like I've been there, like Beacon Skiff. And I have some 1911 in my fridge. And he's like, yeah, this is the first time I've ever had their cider. He's like, it's pretty good. I was like, hold that thought. Ran into the house, grabbed him a can of another one that from 1911, brought it back out. I was like, here you go. Like, here's their tropical. Like, this one's pretty good too. And then I poured him stuff off my off my tap. I was like, try this one. I made this. Try this one. I made this. Yeah, I'm a pusher.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
But Saturday we end up taking all four dogs, loaded them up in the car, drove up to Stafford, went to the grand opening of the brewery, saw the owner again, saw a bunch of other folks up there. Like the craft beer scene, Patrick, like everyone supports each other. So
Sure.
like the head brewer for one of the local places down here was up there because he knows the head brewer. There were a bunch of people who are members of the different they're all like members of like their mug club. So like they're the like so like I was a mug clubber at Six Bears. They're all members of like they're patrons of those breweries, and they give them a set amount of money for the year, and they get kickbacks in exchange, like bigger glasses and fancy stuff and everything else. So next thing I know, like I'm meeting all these people from the different groups, and Brandy's like, "Oh, I know you. Like you come to kickbacks all the time, or I've met you at Fawn Lake, or and they all recognize her, like, oh yeah, no, hi Brandy, like it's good to see you again." Um, so no, so we had all day we did Saturday there. We left from there. We went to one of the local wineries to check them out because we hadn't been there in a while. Again with four dogs. Sunday, so it was yesterday. Sunday, we took care of some stuff around the house, did a lot of cleaning, and then we had dinner. We hadn't been to BJ's Brew House. If you guys have never been to one of those, Patrick, I highly encourage you to check one out if you find one in the area.
Okay.
Their food's awesome.
All
Like
right.
it's a brew house. They have brewers all over the country. They
Sure,
make
sure, sure.
beer, but their food is really good. It is a chain, and it's definitely worth checking out if you get a chance. So we stopped in there, watched a medical emergency unfold. That was unexpected. Um, but no, like we did that, and then today we got up, we ran some errands again, took care of a few things. I've got a new cat box for Yoshi that he likes, which makes me happy. And then let the dogs go, and then we finally finished Carnival Row.
I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it, but it's on Amazon.
We watched the second season. So not only have we committed and finished Carnival Row, I also beat Breath of the Wild this week.
Oh, hold on.
I will.
How many hours on Tears of the Kingdom?
Honestly, it's only about 10.
The over under was 5, so you're good.
Yeah. I'm probably right about 10. Somewhere right in there.
Only about 10.
Yeah, I would play more, but I've been doing other things.
Uh,
That game is awesome.
Mm.
It's so stinking good. If Tears of the if Breath of the Wild was was the undergraduate, Tears of the Kingdom is their master's program. Like I have been absolutely stunned at how awesome that game is. It is amazing.
Yes, it is. I've probably got 12 to 13 on mine as well.
Haven't played it.
You'll get there.
I'm holding out.
So good.
It is really
So
good.
good.
It's very good.
I'll be a pusher of that one. It's quality. It's worth it.
Yeah.
They did it right, boyo. They
Oh, no. I've
Yep.
seen most of it played already.
I've honestly, so like when I'm scrolling like social media, or if I'm on like if I hit like TikTok and like I see someone playing the game, like I'll watch like 2 seconds of it and I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Scroll.
Scroll past.
I don't want to watch it. I want to experience it for myself. Like I know people have already beaten the game,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like multiple times, but I don't care. I'm enjoying it. I've seen, so I've completed the sky. I've gotten down to the ground. I've started exploring the under thing, or whatever they call it, the darkness.
Yeah.
My
Scary.
old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. So I've gotten to see that, which was cool. It's honestly it is an awesome game. I've been thoroughly impressed. The fuse system is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stop putting weapons together. I made a giant double sword as I could.
Boulder on a stick. It's my favorite.
Yeah, no, boulder on a stick for the win, baby.
I mean, that's the thing. You fuse that thing, and then you put it on your back, and the boulder's small. And then as soon as you pull it out, the boulder goes, "Ooh."
Mm-hmm.
I think the part, I know we're kind of getting off subject,
A
just
little
kind of
bit.
talking about this, but I think my favorite thing I've seen so far about the game, obviously I haven't got to a dungeon. I know they exist. I'm looking forward to that. But more than anything else, the shrines.
Yeah.
The shrines so far have been so stinking cool.
Yes, they
Like
have.
they literally, it's like, okay, here's a whole new list of abilities that are different from what you had when you were playing Breath of the Wild. And then they created all these new shrines and they built brand new puzzles around all of them. And they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. I like the fact that they literally, like, one of the first shrines you did when you got, I hope I'm not ruining it for anyone,
No.
Boyo. Um,
Like I
one of
said,
the
I literally sat down with one of the dudes and watched him play. I'm good.
so one of the shrines, Patrick, I'm sure you got to this one too, because it was the one right there, like when you first get to the ground.
Right.
Um, it was a combat one, but not a combat in the fact that um not a combat in like a minor or a major test of strength like you had from Breath of the Wild.
Right.
It was, here's combat. This is how you dodge.
Right.
This is
This
how
is how
you
you strafe. This is how
parry.
you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
like, don't get me wrong, call it holding your hand or whatever, but I really appreciate that, like, they almost kind of threw it out there, purposely tried to throw it out there at the beginning, like, let me teach you some of these skills so that as you progress in the game, you're gonna get, you understand what they are and you can get better. I like that. I thought that was
Yeah.
brilliant. I thought it was well implemented, and
Yeah.
frankly, it was a lot of fun. So,
I
cheers to
agree.
Tears of the Kingdom. Game's awesome. I'm gonna keep playing it when I get the chance.
Same.
Right on. Patrick, what about you, man? How was the week?
The week was busy. We are coming down to our final days with our current class of cadets. They're called the Reflectors of Holiness. They will be commissioned and ordained as lieutenants on Sunday of this coming week. What is
Beautiful.
that? The 4th, June the 4th.
June 4th.
And so we're
Just shy of your
busy
birthday.
rehearsing, getting all that taken care of. But really, this last week was the heavy part. Um, so as members of our church of the Salvation Army, to become a member, you sign this thing called a soldier's covenant, or if you're older like me, it was called Articles of War, and it pretty much it says what our doctrines are, why we believe what we believe, um, things that we'll abstain from in order to live a holy life. And so that's why the boys can talk about drinking, and
Yeah.
I do not, because that's one of the things that, as the soldiers' covenant that I have signed, and now the officers' covenant, that we abstain from, that I abstain from.
Absolutely.
But anyways, um, so you have the soldiers' covenant when you become a member of the Salvation Army. Then you have an officers' covenant that you sign, and this is the next step. And a covenant is we liken it to marriage. It's a sacred promise. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that we hold dear, and that we promise to the Lord, and he also holds us to him in it. And so this covenant, we had 4 different chapels this week, led by Colonel Jewett. I don't know if you all remember Colonel Vern Jewett
And his son Booth.
and his son Booth.
Yep.
Yep. Fantastic people, Vern and Martha
Mm-hmm.
Jewett. They're beautiful, beautiful, godly people. And they led our chapels this week. And what a blessing that was. I learned something cool about him. I'll tell you about it later. But we had lunch with them yesterday after the Covenant Chapel, the
Nice.
Sunday chapel where our reflectors signed their covenant. But on Saturday, we had that Mando fun that you were talking about, Greg. And
Amen.
boys, do you remember ever going to a little place called Medieval Times?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
uh,
Oh
and
yeah.
and your fond memories of it, or not
Oh
so
yeah.
much?
Oh
No,
yeah.
yeah. I funny actually.
Uh oh,
It's where I got my first set of juggling sticks. The ones that
really?
yeah, the ones that you broke.
Yeah, da, 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 da. You know what? You hit
Nice.
something
Sunset
hard enough, it
Circus.
will break.
It will break.
I wanted to work there in high school.
Really?
Yeah, they put one in the mall.
That's the one we went to up at
Yeah.
Sugarloaf. Well, it was was it? What was
Uh,
it then?
it's
Was it
Sugarloaf
Discover
Mills.
Mills?
So it was Discover, and
Okay.
then it just became Mills.
Right.
Nobody picked it up, and now they've decided that since no one else has picked it up, it is Sugarloaf Mills because it's on
Correct.
Sugarloaf Parkway.
Sugarloaf Mills. Well, excuse me. Medieval Times is still going strong there. We rooted heartily for the Green Knight.
Yay,
Um
Green Knight.
He never
it
wins.
was great until he started having to do something.
Yep.
And but that's okay.
The Black Knight always triumphs.
We had an interesting time. It was and when things are scripted. When a guy gets hit by a lance, he rides about 4 gallops and then decides, "Oh, now I should jump off my horse."
Yep.
So it's just stuff like that.
Oh
So,
man.
gentlemen, my favorite part of that whole night was the falconer.
Yep.
And he released the falcon, and it flew around the stadium, and just it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. Um and then the rest of it was just garbage. But that's okay.
Yeah.
The kids had a great time. That's all that matters. And hooray, hooray for them.
Hooray.
But yeah, Mando fun, good times. Today, however, we were invited by the Swires family to join them for a cookout at High Falls State Park, just south of here at Forsyth.
Nice.
And Alex, I sent you a message this morning. Actually, I sent the group a message of I was seasoning the new Blackstone griddle.
I missed it until later, but I did comment, yes.
Gentlemen, I have fallen in love with cooking outside again. Um,
Yay.
that
No,
thing
that's a
is
class.
amazing. Oh, it's amazing. Um, Phil decided to bring steaks, and these were some hearty steaks, gentlemen. They were probably 2 inches, probably two
Yep.
inches thick, some of them,
Mm-hmm.
and put those things on there with couple of tube steaks on there too. For those in the know, that's hot dogs.
Those are hot
Hot
dogs.
dog.
And put those on there, guys. Those steaks were just amazing,
Mhm.
and the cleanup was stupid easy. Sorry
Wet
for the bad
rag,
word.
wipe it
It
down.
was so easy, and guys, it just what a day. Beautiful weather, gorgeous weather. Got to sit in a hammock for a little bit. Got to eat really good food. Got to walk a trail, and just really rest today in God's creation. So I was grateful for
Amen.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, how about you, buddy?
Oh, it's been a week, brothers. It's been a
Oof.
week.
Yeah.
So everybody went on leave this week. So we are down a third of the department. So everybody is in 3-section duty. So I've described this to you guys before, but for anybody else who doesn't remember it, 3-section duty means every 3 days I have to spend the whole 24 hours on the boat.
Yeah.
And if that 24 hours falls during the work week, I still have a work day following that.
Mm.
So I started on Tuesday of last week. Luckily, I didn't have duty until Thursday, but that meant that I stuck around a little bit on Friday in order to go home because they gave us the 4-day for Memorial Day.
Yep.
And then that it was kind of terrible, but at the same time wasn't too bad. But we had all sorts of stuff. My guys planned. And they said, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna do these things on these days." And I said, "Guys, I'm not gonna be there those days." Oh, well, we kind of assumed you'd be here. Yeah, okay. So I had to make up contingencies and try and figure out how to have supervision for these events that these guys are gonna go and do. But it all worked out. It wasn't too bad. But got through the work day, and then on Friday, we took the kids out to the commissary. I love the commissary.
Is that an eating place?
No, that's a grocery store.
Okay, now.
So the commissary is something that's only available to active duty or retirees. And basically, you can go in and you can buy stuff that's at like a very steep discount. Like, for example, when Mom and Dad were here a couple weeks ago, we did a pork butt. At Kroger, that pork butt, around the same size as the one that I found, was just about $25. That was with the Kroger discount.
Let's go Krogering.
I went to the commissary. That same size pork butt was like $9.75.
Come on.
Yeah. So the commissary is pretty great, right? Plus, on top of that, they don't charge sales tax. So what you pay is what you pay.
Wow.
It's fantastic. They charge a convenience fee, and that's really about it. But that convenience fee is like $5. So if you go and spend like $150 on groceries for the week, and you spend $5, that's well less than whatever taxes you would spend at Kroger.
Beautiful.
It's great.
No, say what you will. Say what you will. The commissary is where you go if you want to get meat.
It is, in fact. I was walking through there, and gentlemen, I found a brisket.
You found a brisket.
I found a brisket.
Did you slap it when you found it?
I did, in fact, and then I put it in the cart.
Yes.
I was like, "That's some good meat."
That's right.
This baby will feed a family of 10.
Yep. So that's actually what I had for dinner this evening. I took some leftover brisket and heated it back up and put it on some sandwich buns, and I had 2 brisket sandwiches.
That's beautiful.
It was great.
You're making me hungry.
But
That's beautiful.
my father-in-law and his wife, my other mom, they came in town, and they came in on Saturday. So I had all of Friday night and Saturday to get everything ready. So I did a brisket on Friday night. And gentlemen, I don't know what happened.
Oh no.
I mean, it was good. It was still good. It was still moist. Moist.
Moist.
Yeah. Sorry, Greg. But like, I put this
Stop.
thing on.
Stop.
I got up at 2 in the morning on Saturday. Got it out, got it to room temperature, got it seasoned, got everything ready, got the grill up to temp. Put it on at 3. I was like, it's a 10-pound brisket, less than a 10-pound brisket after I trimmed it. So it's gonna take maybe 12 hours. It's not gonna be that bad. So I put it on there, and I get it on right at 3. And I was like, I'm gonna go take a nap real quick. I'm gonna try and lay down for a little bit, get some sleep, try and work it out. Because if you get it on, you don't really have to worry about anything with it until it gets up to 165.
Okay.
Because then you have to wrap it and then put it back on and let it go. It helps it gets through the 165 stall. It helps it get up to temperature quicker. Keeps all the moisture wrapped inside the brisket. It works. It's great. Highly recommend it. Either use butcher paper or, if you have to, use aluminum foil, but highly recommend butcher paper. So I wake up at 7 because I'm like 4 hours. That's definitely enough time. Everything will be fine. I look across from me because I put the wireless thermometer that's reading my temps right next to me. So that as soon as I woke up, I look over, 175.
Oh
Oh
no!
no!
I
Oh
mean, that's
no!
not terrible,
But it jumped fast.
It jumped real fast. Like, I was expecting I'd wake up 4 hours later and then I still have half an hour to an hour for it to get
Yeah.
up to 165.
Sure.
So I start to freak out. Because you know how it is. You get that anxiety about something that you're like, oh man, I really, really need this thing to go right. What's going on? So I go over there and I go down and I pull it off, and I'm worried. I'm like, it's gonna get dried out. Something's gonna be bad. Something's gonna happen. So like I'm wrapping this thing and putting it in butcher paper, trying to figure out what to add to it. If I need to add some beef broth in there or something, or do an injection, something. Uh, I ended up just cranking the temperature down a little bit lower, put it back on there exactly the same, and just let it go. And it got done by the time my father-in-law and his wife showed up.
Wow.
So it got up to like 205 ish. So I let it rest down from there, and then put it in the cooler, and then we we ended up going, Greg, we went to Harbor Trail.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How was it
I mean,
again?
it was interesting. We were inside that time because it was a little bit cooler. We had the kids.
Yeah.
But we ended up going to a brewery to wait, Patrick. Because, it's 4 hours. We got time.
Sure.
So we went hang out for a little bit, try and relax, and got back, and I made some garlic mashed potatoes.
Nice.
I smoked the rest of the baked beans that I had, so I made smoked baked beans. Put all of that out, got out, cut the brisket, and the bottom 2/3 of it were fantastic. That top third, I was like, yeah, it's dried out. I mean, it still tasted fine. It still melted in your mouth, still broke apart, but you can just see that there's not as much moisture up there. Like, there's a defining line.
Yeah.
I said, well, crap.
I wonder what happened, why it jumped so fast. Maybe you had a temperature spike and you didn't know it?
Maybe. That's my thought. I don't know. Because I had it at 225. So that should have taken an hour to an hour 15-ish per pound. So, a 10-pound brisket, 12 hours, definitely reasonable. But no, don't know.
I'm pulling my smoker out here soon. I've got the urge to do some beer can chicken.
It's one thing I haven't invested in yet, but
Well,
yeah.
A smoker is honestly it's worth it. If you
Only if you got access to a commissary. Goodness.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
if whatever you can find, dude. Like those steaks that you had, that was the first thing I ever did on my smoker, because I smoked steak.
smoked steaks are great.
Fascinating.
Greg and I ate them, and they were fantastic.
Smoked steaks are really good. If you have a brother that hunts,
Yep.
Venison is highly recommended. You
It
can
is
do some
fact.
back. You can do some back straps. Those are
Just
pretty
don't tell
tasty.
Julia.
With that garlic aioli
Just,
over the top
just,
of it.
just don't tell her what it is.
Oh.
That's right.
She'll eat it anyways.
Yeah,
It's a
she'll-
really
She's gonna
small.
question every meat I put in front of her from now on.
Nope.
It's not that bad.
Is
It's
this
honestly,
Nope.
it's. I can make chili that she won't tell the difference. I can promise you that.
Now she's gonna question your chili. Way to
Yep.
go, G.
Way to go.
Way
girl.
to go.
It's your fault.
What are you talking about?
She listens.
Oh, well, she'll enjoy it anyways.
She is a regular listener. God bless
I
her.
love it.
Thank you, baby.
I promise that I would not put anything in front of her that isn't good to eat.
And Alex, a friend of mine, just sent a message, said that you risk it all for the brisket.
I do, in fact.
Yes, you
I
do.
risk it all for the brisket.
Risking
done.
it all for the brisket.
So I had a good time. I'm still eating it. It's fantastic. But
You might just have to bring some up with you tomorrow.
Well, I will. I still got some
Thank you.
leftovers. I got some patches for you tomorrow too.
Oh,
Ooh, patches.
And
I've got a sticker for you to add to your collection.
dude, I don't know what to do with the other stickers. Like, look, I'm full.
I know. That's why you hold on to them, and then maybe I'll get you a piece of sheet metal that you can put underneath your flag, so you can start adding them that way.
Yeah, I actually got to put my coins up there. I have 2 of them up there. That's it.
Mine are.
So Donut Operator puts all his patches on a Velcro wall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
all
you
of
could probably
mine
do
you
that
can
with your
see.
stickers.
So those are all of my old squadron patches.
Yeah.
Starting from the top, like all my units and some of the random shoulder patches that I've collected over the years from deployments and all that jazz.
I got 3 more for you. They're pretty good.
I like good patches. Those are that's my thing. I don't collect coins.
I do.
I know.
I love coins. I can't help it.
Dad collects coins too.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm sorry.
Dad's a coin guy. Everyone has their thing. Like
That's
some guys do both. I can't do both. I don't like. I'd rather have patches. I like
One or the other.
patches.
Well,
So, question. We're up to 47 minutes.
Oh
So-
man, we're getting there. So today's a special day in terms of, we all had the day off, or at least, I know, Patrick, you had some commitments, but still today is a federal holiday, and the holiday is Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And Memorial Day and Veterans Day are very different. I get asked this all the time. I tell people time and again, Memorial Day is not the day where you go up to a veteran and thank them for their service.
Yeah.
That's not what this day is about.
Nope.
Memorial Day is the day that you take a step back and you honor those individuals that have given the ultimate sacrifice, whether it's they have simply gone on before us, they served their country and lived a full life and are no longer physically here on this planet, or they left us too soon, in our minds. It's up to God, but in our minds, they left us earlier than what we felt as though they should have, because they either gave the ultimate sacrifice. They were serving their country, and something happened. So the question I ask is, the people that you guys honor. Yeah, Patrick, I know we talked before the show started. I know Patrick's gonna talk a little bit about someone, but for Alex and I, more specifically too, like those people that we, the stories of those people that we honor on Memorial Day, and if you guys want to talk a little bit about them.
So I don't have the privilege and the honor of knowing as many as you all do from your line of work and sacrifice, and so, but I do have somebody that we all three can relate to, and that's our Grandpa Dan. Um, I didn't grow up knowing Grandpa Dan served until I saw a picture of him in uniform.
Wow.
Um, I don't remember where it was. I think it was at the house on Big Bass Lake, and it was one of those old pictures, the ones where it almost looks like they're porcelain, like they're painted kind of deal. Um, so he was in a military uniform of the such, and that's when I learned that Grandpa Dan he served. Um, but growing up, I, I Greg, you pointed it out. I knew him 6 years more than you guys did,
Yeah.
and for those 6 years, I was the only grandkid, and
So
so
wild.
birthdays were always at grandma and grandpa's. Um, I I lived with grandma and grandpa and mom and dad for a hot minute. I can't remember how long. Um, but it was during that transition stage of them coming back to Ohio from Brunswick. Um, but Grandpa Dan, he taught me how to play chess. Grandpa taught me how to swing a golf club right-handed. Uh,
I didn't know that.
yeah, Grandpa, he cut down some of his old three woods to fit my size,
Yeah.
and he would let me hit balls out into the field from his driveway. Um, Grandpa's service didn't define him,
Mhm.
but I always knew Grandpa as an honorable man. I always knew him as one who would put family first. There was this one time, Joey and I, no, it wasn't Joey, it was Andy, our cousin Andy. We were in the backyard of their house on the farm, and there was this pile of uh, like bricks, the ones that you would lay down on the ground and you'd make a patio kind of area. So
Yeah.
like
Okay.
paving stones.
Yeah.
And they were all stacked up and there were weeds growing all over the place. And I happened to drop one and it broke. I thought, oh, that's really cool because I'm stupid and wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
So then I found out how to turn another one on its side and then pick up another one and drop it on that and break it in half. And I did this for about 15 minutes and I broke probably six or seven of them, maybe a dozen.
Anywhere
And
between 6 and a dozen.
and you
Yeah.
know
I love it.
when there are two kids that are underage and they're not anywhere in the house, of course you're going to come looking for them. Well, Grandpa came out and found us, and in the middle of breaking these expensive pavers,
Mhm.
um, obviously the question came up, what were you thinking? But then immediately he followed that up with grace and a hug. I did find myself in timeout,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. I knew I messed up.
Yeah.
Like I knew when I saw him and the look on his face, I knew I messed up. But when when that dawned on me, I think my grief at knowing what I had done, he knew and knew nothing else needed to be done to teach the lesson. And so, mm, Grandpa, I I remember him almost daily.
Mhm.
Um, especially being here and his background of faith and ministry. It's just he's one I will remember always. And I'm grateful for all that he has meant to me and to us as his grandsons. So there you go.
Grandpa Dan.
Grandpa Dan.
Grandpa Dan.
Alex, do you want to talk a little bit about anyone in particular? Or?
Well, my military profession has been stained, unfortunately, with quite a few of these. And more often than not, it is an individual that is going before their time.
Mm-hmm.
But just a couple of weeks ago, right after we got home, we had one of the guys that I interacted with and saw and talked to and counseled, whatever, on a daily basis for the last 9 months. He's no longer with us. His name was CJ. And we were home and safe. And he's no longer with us. Sorry, it's more difficult than I thought. My bad.
It's all right. It never gets easier. It just, the time gets longer, unfortunately.
But he was my buddy. So while we were out, the parent division that owns the lounge for where I live, they're a bunch of mechanics, and they got in trouble.
Here.
And they decided, their master chief decided that the lounge and berthing were off limits. Now, he can't tell people they can't be in berthing because obviously you have to sleep there. So they weren't allowed in berthing until 15:30, and then once 15:30 happened, they were only allowed to be in their racks. That's it. They couldn't come in and hang out in the lounge. They couldn't, utilize anything. Nothing. Well, these are all my kids, right? They're either my kids or they're my friends, and they came and pulled me aside when all of this happened. They're like, dude, you have to protect the lounge. We need you to hold the fort down, because otherwise what's going to happen is one of the other rates is going to try and move in and take over our lounge. I'm an honorary mechanic. I don't know if you guys know this.
I did not know that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm an honorary mechanic. I'm an honorary land administrator. I'm an honorary ELT. I think the only group that I am not really in with are nobody. Thinking about it, all my my master at arms are like, oh yeah. I brought everybody to the boat on Sunday, and my master at arms, a bunch of my guys were standing out at the ECP, and Liz came up and showed her ID with her dad and her stepmom and the kids, and they're like, oh, well, we can't let you through because we have some submarines that are around us, so we can't let unauthorized people down the pier. So I started walking, from the hangar bay, walking down to go and get them, and one of my MAs looks out and he goes, oh yeah, you're good, y'all go ahead, and just passed him up through. But
you're with Richmond, you're okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, you're trustworthy.
That's right.
Those are my
You're
people.
friends now.
But CJ was a mechanic, and he's a part of that division. But literally a week before this happened, he got transferred to another division. So he was working in reactor training, which, again, like it was the hookup, right? He's working in reactor training. There's no real responsibility. There's no real anything. You know, it is basically, we understand. Go take some time. You know, you pretty much have all the time to do whatever you want to do. So
Sure.
for the 2 weeks that the rest of the guys couldn't be in the lounge, CJ and I held that down. We had other rates that were like, oh yeah, yeah, all the mechanics are out. They're coming in. We're just like, get out. I went and had the R div guys, because again, I have friends. I got the repair div, the guys who owns the wood shop. I was like, can y'all make me a sign? They're like, okay, what does it need to say? Richmond's place. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, we can have it to you later today. I said, sweet, thanks. I showed back up. I gave him 2 monsters. We came back later that day. I hung the sign on the outside of the lounge and shut the door. And CJ comes and he looks at it. He opens the door real quick. He goes, really? I said, yep, no one's going to come in. He goes, sweet. Goes back to his rack, grabs snacks, comes down. We sat down and watched a movie for 2 hours. It was awesome.
Nice.
But he, unfortunately, is the end of a long line of the individuals that I know and are no longer with us.
Yeah.
And that's my Memorial Day today. That's CJ.
To CJ.
CJ.
Well, I have a short one to talk about, because this is part of Memorial Day. It's always a hard one.
Yeah.
I was at Kickbacks on, it was Friday night. Friday night. No, it was Saturday. It was Saturday night. So we had come back. Brandy needed to go to Kickbacks. So she works there. You guys know she works there as a bartender. And she wanted to go pick up her money because she hadn't been able to get it from earlier in the week. And we got to the bar. We sat. We're not allowed to sit at the bar because she's an employee there. So we what ended up happening is we sat at like the workers table. So it's like one of the corner booths that's been commandeered. Like they're not seating anyone there. It's where all the folks that are still on shift, like if they're a server and they're just trying to grab a quick bite to eat, they can sit there and eat real quick. Or in this case, one of the other bartenders who was done for the night, she had finished her shift, was sitting there as well. And I got a chance to know Adriana, and I'll keep this one short and I'll talk about the other one. But Adriana was sitting at the table, and I looked up at her. She's sitting across from Brandy and I, and on her wrist was a black wristband with writing on it. And Patrick, if something future reference, something you see, this is a great thing to point out. For those of us that are in the service, it's become a standard, unfortunately, a way to honor those that have gone before us, to have a memorial band made. And they're usually black, sometimes they're silver. They can be worn on either wrist, and they're usually etched with information. So it's going to have that person, that loved one's name, their rank, their name, maybe their service, their date of birth, the date that they passed away. But it's very telling. You see it. If you see one, you'll know exactly what it is. And I saw it on Adriana, and I asked her, And I asked the question. I'm like, 'cause my initial thought was that she had served, and she says, no, I wasn't in. This is my brother.
Mm.
And she proceeded to tell me about her older brother, and he served in the Marine Corps, and told me his story, shared his story with me, and I was able to share the story I'm going to tell you guys. Um, I think I mentioned we've talked about it on the podcast, but uh, my Memorial Day, there are a few, but the one that's on my heart because it's so recent, just this year, was Sean Wiley. Um, Sean was, well, it was almost a year ago now. Sean was one of the young men that I put in the Marine Corps,
Mm.
and he was I he was one of my kids. Alex and I have a similar mindset when it's our the young men and women that we work with. We've actually called them our children because they are. They do stupid things. We correct them. We have those heart-to-heart talks. Sometimes you have to put a boot in their backside.
John
Um,
Brown.
I put my boot in your John Brown hand in. But Sean was uh, one of these young men that I worked with all throughout his senior year, starting really from his junior year. But he was one of my projects. Unfortunately, fortunately, he was able to join the Marine Corps. He came from a really rough background growing up. By the time he was a senior in high school, he was homeless. He was, as we were approaching the end of the year and he was getting ready to graduate, he was couch surfing. I can't tell you the number of times I had to go to the high school and sit down with his counselor and talk with him, that I had to pull Sean down into his counselor's office and the three of us had to sit down and talk, that I had to go to, he was an JROTC student, that I had to go and talk to his master chief about Sean. Um, he ran away. I had to go find him.
Mm.
I found him at his girlfriend's house. I've told this story. I'm not gonna go back into long detail, but he's the reason I have Yoshi. Um, which was a source of comfort initially during my time on recruiting duty, having that, having this wonderful cat, which, now I have two beautiful dogs in addition to, but you know, I I would not have found Yoshi if it wasn't for Sean and all of the shenanigans that I had to put up with that senior year.
Mm.
Um, Even after he came in the Marine Corps, he called me dad. It's still true. It drove me bonkers. It was sir, then it was staff sergeant slash dad. Daddy staff. I don't even get that one. That was weird.
At least you got dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
mom.
wasn't. I don't get called mom much, but
Yeah.
Mom. Hey,
ma'am,
mom.
ma'am, ma'am.
Mom.
But Sean was both frustration and also a source of pride to see him complete all of those struggles, like everything that he went through, and see him come back as a United States Marine and be successful in the Marine Corps. Um, for him to leave this world so young, barely in his 20s.
Mm.
Not even. I think it was barely. He was too young. Um, and I know, yeah, and I know everything is in God's plan. I believe that wholeheartedly, but it doesn't make it any easier. It
No.
doesn't make it any. It doesn't take away where it hurts right here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'll never like he helped me grow as an individual, and he is one of those people that I knew him for such a short period of time, but he had such a huge impact on my life, um, that I'll never forget him. And again, you know, to to Sean.
To
Sure.
Sean.
So, so I apologize for the sadness in terms of
No.
but sharing grief is honestly, Alex and I talked about this, Patrick, when CJ passed. um Alex called,
Yeah.
and we talked for I don't know how
Almost
long.
2 hours.
It was a while,
Yeah.
but to be able to share in that grief, I know you don't live in this world of the military service, Patrick, but at the same time you are a brother, and
Yeah.
I I know I can only imagine some of the times that you've had to go into, as a pastor, and be the counselor, and to be the pastor for families in bereavement.
Yeah.
Um, I know you can empathize and understand. So thank you for sharing that. I didn't
I
know
appreciate
Grandpa
that.
Malik's I didn't know Grandpa Malik's story again until, honestly, and, until the funeral. I had no
Mm.
clue.
Yeah.
And that I know he didn't like to talk about it, but it also kind of comes back to who he was as an individual. He
Absolutely.
didn't, you're right, he didn't let it define him, but at the same time, I have no doubt that that was
A part of it.
part
Yeah.
of him. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Everyone who met him knew who he was
Mm-hmm.
and what he stood for. And to that I'm grateful.
Amen.
They don't make them like that anymore. We can only hope to be like that.
We strive to.
Amen.
We
But
do. We
Greg,
do enjoy our two
don't
fingers.
apologize.
2 fingers.
Yeah. 2 fingers.
2 fingers. It
Yep.
never gets old. It'll never go away.
Amen. But no, Greg, don't apologize for that because it's important that we remember.
Amen.
It's important that we
That's what the
remember.
day's for.
We're told that more times in the Bible to remember. And so it's important that we remember those who have gone on before us. So I've got a joke for you. You
Okay.
ready?
Send it.
I hate when my wife gets mad at me for being lazy.
That's already funny. Okay.
It's not like I did anything.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know if this one's gonna go over. What sound do porcupines make when they hug?
when they
Ouch.
what?
Hug.
Ouch!
How'd I guess it? I don't know.
Oh, that was
We're,
well
we're
played, sir.
wavelength. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone over a step more than usual, but that's quite all right because it's important. It's important to us, and we're so grateful to the six who have held on through our show this evening. Thank you so much for that.
Proud of you.
For those who have joined us throughout this episode, you're beautiful. Thank you for spending your time with us. You can find us live on twitch.tv/Brothers in Arms podcast. You can also find all of our past episodes, all the way back to episode 15, on our YouTube channel. And you can find that at Brothers in Arms podcast. That's all one word. You can also follow us on Twitter at your BIA podcast. And we also have a, what's that thing? It's tied to Facebook? Instagram.
Instagram.
We've got an Instagram where we throw up there pictures of what we're doing throughout the week, or what we've been eating, or just what we've been, almost said meeting, because Alex, you made brisket.
I did.
Don't
Uh,
tempt me.
That's right. But we're putting things up there. So if you want to follow us throughout the week, you can also follow us there. And that's Brothers in Arms podcast as well. So that's all the fun stuff at the end that we got to put up there. Also, it is the 29th of May. And we truly appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us, gentlemen. Any parting remarks before we hit that magic button?
All the magic button. Drink water, change your socks, take Motrin, and don't be afraid to reach out to people.
Yeah.
Especially service members, because there's a lot of them out there, and you don't always have to say, thank you for your service is such an easy answer.
Yep.
Simply saying, just reaching out and talking to them. Talk to them more than just the simple thank you for your service. Ask those. They're like, honestly, y'all, if you're not sure, like, instead of asking, just saying thank you for your service, just ask them, you build that relationship and talk to them a little bit about why they served. What did you do in the military? What was challenging about the military? Where were you stationed? Did you deploy? Have you been overseas? Do you have any friends in the service? Are you still friends with them today? Because I can tell you, if you get a chance to talk to a service member and you can ask them a little bit more about, because I guarantee, unfortunately, or for all the guys that are in, we've all got at least one story about someone that we know and love that's no longer with us. And I hate that, but unfortunately it is true.
Yeah.
But learn a little bit more about them and why they chose to serve.
Yeah.
It might broaden your perspective. And honestly, for a lot of us, it's a good chance to get a chance just to talk a little bit about it. So that's all I got. I'm good. I'm done.
Well, that was well beyond your.
I know. I'm sorry.
Drink your water.
Hey, that's still Doc says.
Doc
Doc
says.
says that is gospel. Drink water, change your socks, take Motrin. Just saying.
I do,
Got
in
it.
fact, say that.
And 2 fingers.
Yes, you do, Doctor. Yes, you do.
Sorry. Here we go.
2 fingers.
Yep.
Oh.
Well,
Check in on your friends.
amen.
Check in on your family.
Amen.
And make sure the last thing you tell them is that you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know when that last time's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
And remember, take time, teach your kids. For those who have them, teach your grandkids to remember. Remember and pass on. Friends, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for taking your time and spending it with us. Hope you have a wonderful, fantastic week. The plan is to be back here next week.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's the plan, Stan. We're going to stick to it.
Yeah. I got
So
duty
until then,
on Saturday.
say Saturday?
Saturday. So I'll be able to do our normal night.
Sunday it is. I get to talk
Sunday.
all about what I'm gonna be doing with Zoe after on Sunday because I'm pretty sure we're gonna be at the pool. I love it.
Probably.
Sounds like a plan. Y'all take care now. We'll see you next time. Love you guys.
I love you too, brother.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Good night.
See ya.
Just all these waves. All the waves. All the waves. I keep doing the wave. I'll do the wave. Patrick's got the pretty wave. Alex is doing the Diana. I'm doing the wax song. And Patrick is doing the flag.
Wasson.
Elbow,
Patrick,
wrist.
Patrick's got the elbow, wrist.
I don't know.
We're still live.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
We'll see you later.